Welcome everybody to Randomjeanc Reviews Armello. Armello is a turn-based strategy card game that feels unique when compared to similar titles. The style alone feels like it's Kung Fu Panda's animated 2D cutscenes mixed with Game of Thrones, and it's very cool. Originally, Armello was actually going to be an iPad exclusive game until it was kickstarted with the initial goal of 200,000 Australian dollars, but reached 305,000 to allow it to be developed on other platforms. This title is a unique one that recently came out of its early access on Steam September 1st and was released as a full game with a price tag of $19.99 for PC, PS4, Linux, and mobile devices. Now let's find out if Armello is really worth the $19.99 and it's worthy to be the full released title. The kingdom of Armello is ruled by its king, who has been corrupted by the rod, which is slowly killing him and descending him into madness. The most prominent members of Armello are the factions who rise up to become the next king or queen of Armello, such as Thane the Winter Wolf, Mercurio the Greening Blade, Sana the Forest Sister, and Amber the Farseeker, to name a few. This is basically what you get from the tutorial missions and from the story trailer. Okay, awesome. Now, let's do the single player campaign. Seems like it's missing. No problem. We can just reboot the game, right? Okay, let's do that. Still not there. I guess that means there isn't a story mode. And what comes to my mind is, how can you make such a cool, incredible, unique world such as this one, full of amazing original designs and characters, and not have an offline campaign? Come on, I want to know more of this world and its lore, especially the 4 main clans. This is ridiculous. Having such a wondrous world built and not having anything beyond face value. I really expected a campaign mode, but all we get is details in the tutorial, nothing more. It's a disappointment to say the least, because I want to know more. But what you see is what you get, and if you want to know more than that, too bad. While the story may be non-existent, its presentation is absolutely top-notch for Armello, which is one beautiful world with great aesthetics and detail. Sometimes it's mostly lush and green, and other times it's frosted and bone-chilling. Something as simple as the transition between day and night is great with its musical cues and tones that are given during the transition. What adds to the ambiance is the sound of noisy forests, people talking in towns, and the clashing of swords during battles. It's all great. The hexagonal tiles and lighting for days and nights bring out the livelihood of the atmosphere to life. This is some high quality animation and phenomenal design for just about every icon and card in Armello. The details of the animated cards are astonishing and beautiful to look at. That melodic soundtrack is calming and very pristine. The composers in the audio department did an excellent job of the sounds and music. Hell, even the sounds of cards shuffling for some reason is hypnotizing and incredible, among other things. When it comes to representation, Armello delivers, and then some. Minor nitpicks are just how the animals themselves don't show any expressions in the board, and there is also no voice acting of any kind. It's all text-based. But to be fair, the sounds for the animals and everything else gets the job done, not necessarily requiring voice work. Armello's gameplay is a hybrid between a turn-based RPG with card game elements. This is played with you and 3 other CPUs or human players, depending if you are playing offline or online multiplayer. The king is like a separate entity, commanding his guards around, who are formidable foes if you decide to attack them, or if they attack you due to a bounty from a king or other players. Every dusk he will entrust the player with the highest prestige to his side, allowing the player to choose a decree that can heavily affect the rest of the match. It is generally better for you if you are the prestige leader, because that's one of the ways you can win. To earn prestige, you can kill Banes and other players, as well as complete quests or find items that grant prestige. The prestige victory is the most standard and easiest way to win, compared to the other 3 ways. You lose 1 prestige when using certain trickery cards, die, or have prestige taken from you by other players. If you have the highest prestige when the king dies, you will automatically win. If someone attempts to assassinate the king and dies while doing so, then the person with the highest prestige will win. The only thing is, if someone does kill the king and survives, the person who assassinated the king automatically wins. But overall, you are much more likely to win with this method. The combat victory is achieved when you you successfully kill the king, which can be done at any time, but it's much harder to do so early on when he has the most health. As every night passes, he will lose 1 heart per dawn. Despite him being beefy and strong, eventually the rot will kill him, unless a player kills him first. All you have to do is enter the palace, which is not easy because upon doing so, you will enter a peril, which forces you to match many symbols, and for each one you don't match, you will suffer penalties. If you manage to get through though, you might get ambushed by the king's guards if they are there. Now if you manage to beat all those, then you fight the king. You must kill him and survive. The Spirit Stone victory can be the easiest, even easier than Prestige, but can also be the most random, because randomly throughout nights, a Spirit Stone will spawn in stone circles, or sometimes quest rewards will provide them. Once you obtain 4, you must reach the king by conquering the perils and guards if they are present, and once you reach the king, automatically you will win. No fighting necessary. But like I said, it's based purely on chance, and each map is randomized, so you have to get lucky and be able to get at least 4 Spirit Stones. The 4th and hardest way to win is the Rot victory, which is literally the same as killing the king, except you have to have a higher Rot number than his. He will start out with 1, but every night he will gain +1 more Rot. And to gain Rot, you must either use dark spells or complete certain tasks that allow you to gain 1 more Rot. And when you're afflicted with Rot, every dawn you will suffer a health penalty. Armello's terrain tiles offer various negative and positive benefits. Dungeons, for example, serve as random loot generators that will give you various loots from money to mana to even rare treasures and rewards. Be wary though, as dungeons can also spawn banes, which are hostile enemies. Forests grant stealth at night, so no one can see you there, and you can ambush your foes. Swamp hurts you by -1 when entering, and stone circles heal you +1 when entering as well. While settlements will yield 1 gold every dusk for each one you have in control. And there are other various terrain tiles. We cannot forget to mention the importance of which clan and hero you select, as each has their own stats and special unique abilities. Let's say for example we picked Thane, the Winter Wolf, who can cut through enemies' defenses and get a guaranteed hit on the enemy using his ability. And let's use his stats to explain how combat in this title works. Thane has a fight stat of 5, meaning when you attack someone or defend against someone, you will roll 5 dice. There are 6 possible faces it could land on. Let's start off with the basics. Sword is 1 attack and shield is 1 defense. That's pretty obvious, right? The sun side and moon sides count as attack, but only if it's during that time of day. So moons miss during the day and suns miss during the night. The wild sign, which looks like a bush, is one of the better ones, as each time you land on it, you will gain 1 attack and you'll be able to keep rolling until you don't land on it. So you can have a ridiculous amounts of attacks with that 1 single die remaining. The rot side does nothing, which we'll get to later. Body is your health. Wits determine how many cards you can hold at one time and how many you will receive when it's your turn. So if you have 3 wits but no cards in your hand, you will receive 3. If you have 3 wits but you already have 2 cards already, then you will only receive 1 that turn. The spirit stat is essentially your mana. Let's talk about card types. Item and treasure cards are essentially equip cards that modify your stats by giving you extra defense, attack, health, or more. But they can also be single-use cards that may, for example, heal you or give you other benefits that affect only you. These cards usually cost gold to play, but not always. Treasure cards work the same as item cards, but they can only be obtained when completing quests or looting dungeons, and are generally more powerful. Spell cards, as mentioned before, cost mana and never gold. These cards can affect your enemies by hurting them, teleport you, heal you, and many other effects. Trickery cards are like spell cards, as they too can affect enemies or yourself, as well as they tend to be more offensive than defensive. But these cost money instead of mana, and sometimes they cost prestige too. Lastly, follower cards are found through quests and dungeons only. They're similar to treasure cards because you have them follow you, and they usually cost gold while giving many positive effects. I forgot to mention that you can also burn cards. Each card that you burn will give you a certain moon sign, a sun sign, the wild sign, or any other sign, as each card has random dice symbols upon them. So if I have 5 fight and burn 4, now I'll only be rolling 1 die. So it can be worth it at times, especially considering every turn you can select which cards you want from 3 piles and get cards based on your wits. So this is a great way to get rid of cards you don't want, since you can never throw them away. You can only burn them or use them. Questing is important to improving your stats, and they are quite addictive. Based on your character, you get somewhat unique quests with certain rewards. Your chance of success varies depending on what kind of quest you are taking. Once you reach a certain tile selected by your quest, you'll automatically complete it, but you can gain an additional card if you complete the extra quest. These are based on your wits, spirit, fight, or health, and failing can penalize you, but sometimes it's worth it, as it can offer great rewards. Once you complete around 4, you must fight the king, kill others for prestige, or complete dungeons to gain more treasures or followers. You cannot cancel quests, so if your location is very far away from you and you get killed, you're going to be mostly screwed because it's going to take forever to try to get back to that spot, especially considering you can only move 3 times during a turn, unless you use some sort of special card that allows you to have more than 3 moves. I really wish you can cancel a quest for a penalty of sort, or at least warn us how far the quest will be before we undertake it. However, the possibility of strategies are nearly endless, but are somewhat dictated by your character's traits. Mercurio has 5 wits, is weaker in health and fight, but does have more options. It does have somewhat of a nice balance, but at times it can be hard to be aggressive or defensive with certain characters. It's hard to really trust anyone because at any time anyone can betray you, and there are no ways to private message anyone or chat at all you can do is do common gestures. I do like the fact that you have the opportunities to win in many different ways, even if they are unbalanced. You can do many things like maybe storm the castle and assassinate the king early, or complete a few quests to boost your stats and find some nice loots. It all varies. Each game usually takes over an hour to complete, depending on how fast your opponents move. Online plays give you around 2 minutes per turn per player. That can significantly slow down the entire game. I mean, think about it. If I make my move and I have to wait, I can be forced to wait up to 6 minutes at a time. And by that time, I just completely get bored. There's nothing you can do really during the turns in which you watch other players. Sure, this is normal of turn-based games, but there's been matches that have taken almost 2 hours for me to complete, even though I knew for a fact I was already gonna lose. There was really no point in being forced to wait so long when the outcome was already very predictable. All I am trying to say is that you have to be a very, very patient person to play this game, because during online play, if people take their sweet time, it's gonna take ages, and it's gonna definitely take you out of the game and make you very, very bored. Overall, Armello is a unique card strategy RPG that really makes it unlike any other game out there. It's brimming with style and high quality presentation that bring the world of Armello to life. It's definitely a game where you can lose many, many hours once you understand all the mechanics of it and get a few friends together to play. I feel like this title would be best to play with friends, and if not with randoms who hopefully don't take too long on their turns, dragging out your objectives. I love the card aspect. It's so cool and unique to have this kind of play. Manipulating the king or other players are highlights of the game, with its incredible music and gorgeous card art. While there may be so much greatness to Armello, there are also glaring issues, such as no campaign or lore that is given in the game itself. You make this incredible world and spend so much time crafting it, and yet no extra information is given to us about the heroes or their backgrounds or anything. Barely anything is given. It's such a missed opportunity to be forced to play offline against CPUs. Not feeling like you've completed so much during matches and having to wait so long before your turn can ruin the experience and fun Armello gives you. The unbalanced victory conditions where prestige reigns supreme and killing the king becomes an option where only warriors with extremely high health or defense can survive the onslaught make it difficult to believe the game isn't rigged to make a select few heroes win easier than others. And making this title cost $19.99 considering it has this many problems is not great. I really feel like it's pricey considering you don't get much out of it besides a multiplayer mode. If you look past all that, Armello is still a very fun and addicting game to play. I believe with a few more patches and balance updates, it can make a great game very easily. But as of now, I can't rate Armello of what ifs, but on what's here already. With all that taken into consideration, I have decided to declare Armello with a 7.5. There are many good times to be had, but it could be improved. And based on our Steam buddies, who gave Armello an 88% out of 898 reviews, this will mark the very first time that I have the biggest difference between me and the Steam community. And that's perfectly fine by me. I think personally it's a little bit overrated considering how it is right now, but that is just my opinion. Thank you all for watching. I know it's been a long time since I uploaded, and I've just been dealing with life and work taking up time and life events. I'm going to try to keep up with my original schedule of one review every 2 weeks or so, but I'm always trying to do more than that. Click here if you want to see my Darkest Dungeon review, which recently came out with a new update, which adds so much new content, and man, I have well over 90 hours. Or click here for my Oregon Trail review. Thank you all for watching, being patient, and I apologize for the time taken between my last upload and this upload, but more is coming. Thank you all for sticking by me and helping me nearly reach 100 subs. Let's keep it going, guys. This is Randomjeanc, signing out.